2014 Honda Odyssey. I got a check engine light with a P3400, and it's a valve pressure stuck off. Also, you might have a P3497 VPS stuck off bank too. So basically, my check engine light's on. The most likely problem is these guys right here. These are called oil pressure switches. Technically, the name is an oil pressure rocker valve switch or whatever. Here's the part number. I'm going to link these below. Yeah, these things go bad. They're notorious for going bad on all kinds of makes and models. And you'll also definitely need these O-rings right here. I'm going to link these as well below. You have to replace the O-rings when you replace these as well. Now, Honda actually put a TSB out for this because it's such a problem. It has these codes just to replace these sensors. And yeah, so I'll link the TSB below if I can, if it's available online. But pretty cut and dry. Check your oil, make sure your oil level is good. If it's good, then it's most likely these little sensors. Here's just some of the affected vehicles, quite a lot. So to check your oil, make sure the car's on a flat surface, make sure it's off, pull your dipstick out, wipe it off. We all know this, make sure it's clean, and then we'll put it back in and then pull it out quickly and check to see if the oil is on the correct level. Now on this one, it's that mesh line. This is actually perfect, it has the perfect amount of oil in it, and it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and replace these valves. The engine cover needs to come off. Get in here with a flathead and twist these about 15 degrees, I believe, on each side, and then you can just kind of lift this up gently and pull it out. If it's not coming off, then something's not right, so double check. Now, here's the first valve right here. This guy right here, it has a green electrical connector with a 1-wire. These just unscrew after you get them disconnected. And then the one in the back is right here. This is towards the firewall on the right side of the engine towards the back, and also a green connector on that one too. So if you're looking for it, a green connector, that's the one. So let's go ahead and disconnect this connector. This connector has a little thumb tab that you push down and then you pull the wire connector back. Try not to pull on the wire at all, and then just push that thumb tab down and wiggle and pull straight up, and then that connector should come off. They could be a little stubborn. At this point, these vehicles are getting a little old and, whatever can get in there. And then to remove this, it's a 24mm socket, and I have it on a 1/2-inch ratchet. I'll link this below. 24-inch socket's not really a big common one, but just get the socket on there. You don't need to remove anything really, and then just get it loose. And then once you get it loose, you can just take it out with your fingers. Just untwist it until it comes off. Obviously, do this with the engine off. There goes my O-ring. That's okay. No oil should really shoot out or nothing, so you don't got to worry about that. And then here it is. This is they call it the oil rocker, like rear pressure switch or something. It's a long name, but it's basically just like an oil pressure sensor, to be honest. It just detects if there's oil pressure or not. And then the O-ring should have been here, but it fell off when I took it out. So we'll have to just clean it off a little bit right there, make sure nothing goes in there, and put the new O-ring on. Here's the O-rings. I'll link them below as well. Unless you bought a bunch of these, be very careful putting these in. The O-rings, that is. And then here's my new sensor. I got all Honda parts. I always try to go OEM if I can. And honestly, for Honda parts, these are priced pretty fair. It's not even like an expensive part. And then we'll go ahead and put this on. Put the O-ring in. Be very concentrated when you do this. Get the O-ring in and gently just kind of circle around it and get it in place, and then we'll screw the new sensor in. And I forgot to mention, I'm doing both sensors because if one's going out, then the other one's probably not too far behind. But if you have just a code for one bank, you could just do that one bank if you wanted to. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and screw that in, hand tighten as much as I can, and then I'm just going to cinch it down with my ratchet here. I don't have the torque specs, sorry guys, but I just did like snug plus a little bit of a quarter turn. You do not need to go mega tight on those. In fact, I would go kind of light on those, just snug and then a little quarter turn and you'll be good. And then plug your connector back in and then you're good to go. So that one's done. Now let's move to the back. Back here, there's our green connector. Same thing, we're just going to push the connector thumb tab and lift it straight up. And then we're going to take our ratchet and our socket. If you have kind of like a deep socket, it's honestly, I didn't have to move any hoses or any connectors or wires. It was just accessible. So hopefully you have just as much luck as me. If you need to move like a wire harness or something out the way, then that's kind of normal. But I got this loose, and then I just untightened it by my hands. The O-ring stuck to this one this time, so that's good. And then I'm going to put my new O-ring in, and then I got my new sensor right here. So again, be very cautious when you're putting your O-ring in. If you drop your O-ring, then you gotta go get a new one. I mean, you could try using your old one, but it might leak. But I mean, if you're in a bind and you have no choice, then I would just reuse your old one if you don't have a new one. But I would highly recommend getting a new one. And then we're gonna go ahead and get this in place and just hand tighten it in, just very carefully. I like to make sure this is hand tightened as far as I can go before I use my ratchet. And if it's not trying to go in, you might be going in crooked, or the threads might be, you know, not going right. So just be very aware of that. Don't try to force this down, because if you try to force it and you strip the threads out on either the sensor or especially the engine, then you're going to have a whole new problem going on. So I'm just going to cinch this down a little bit with my ratchet here. Like I said, not tight. I'm not trying to because you could easily break that sensor or strip the threads out. These are not that tough. So put that in, plug the connector in, and that's it, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear all my tools out of here. I'm going to start the car. I'm going to let it idle, and I'm going to check for leaks. So I turned it on, made sure I didn't leave any tools behind or nothing. And then with it running, I'm just going to come and inspect each sensor that I put in. This is at idle. Make sure it's not squirting oil out or anything. Both look good. And then if both look good, I'm going to go in my car and just raise the RPM up to 2,000 with it in park. Just to increase the oil pressure. I'll just do that for about a minute, and then I'll go out and double check the sensors again. Maybe have a buddy or someone just raise the RPM up so you could go check the sensors. And then, but if you don't see any oil coming out, you're probably just fine. So that's it. So let's put the engine cover back on. There's a hole right here and a hole right here for the back pegs of the engine cover. Right there and right there. Those go in, and then you just put these little locks back in place right here. Like that. And then I cleared my code with a scanner. But if you don't have access to a scanner, probably like a couple weeks of driving, multiple starts and driving on the freeway, the light will eventually go out on its own. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Alright, guys, that's all the information I got for you. The rest of the video is just some products and other stuff I got going on. Totally up to you if you want to stick around. Got a 15% off promo code for AUXITO.com. They got a handful of products, but what they're mostly known for is their really good aftermarket LED headlights. They've been out a few years now, and at first the lights they had were 200% brighter than regular headlight bulbs. Now they've upgraded the tech this year, and now it's 600% brighter. So if you're in the boonies, the suburbs, the city, I highly recommend you upgrade your bulbs. Nothing wrong with having an old car, but you should get with the times and have bright headlights like everyone else. These bulbs are available on Amazon. However, if you go to the AUXITO website, that's where I could give you a promo code for 15% off. All you got to do is go to the website, type in your year, make, and model. There's basically products for every car out there, and what kind of light you want. They have all kinds of different lights for interior, exterior, headlights, and then you just browse to what you need and you get it. And then at checkout, you're going to type in GearmoAuto and then hit apply in the coupon code spot, and it'll take 15% off.